Yeah, and it has to sound good. We have to make sure that we play it on our headphones, we play it on our phone, and then we play it
on
in the car.
on the car. Yes.
And if it sounds good in all three places, we're like, that's it.
That's so
the
smart.
one.
And you know what? That's speaking of the old music. That's what the folks at Motown used to do. They would mix it in the studio, but then they wanted to listen to it on a little AM mono speaker because that's how most people are going to be listening to it.
Yeah, it's important.
That's it. Yeah, we have this. I mean, we have these monitors. This kind of devices. With very fine sound. And then you can see. So, but after that, we need to test in at least 2 or 3 different devices. Yes, and so that's it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very smart.
So we're going to come back and chat with you in a few minutes, but I do want to let our listeners listen to some of your music. So we're going to start with.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Let's see.
Do you guys have a favorite, by the way? I'm curious.
Rebecca.
Oh, I have a favorite. It's called The Other Place. But Standing in the Void, it would definitely be my second at this point. So
Could be Standing in the Void. Yeah.
But for you, it'd be Standing in the Void. So if you want to play Standing in the Void, that would be amazing.
Yeah. We will play that next.
Yeah, because...
I do have Echoes of Yesterday queued up. So.
Oh, yes. Yeah. That's good.
Nice.
When you had sent me the link to the music and I started listening to some of them and through the Dropbox link, that was the first one that really stood out to me. And as I listened to it, I said, wow, this is really original. I really want to hear from Rebecca and Ricardo what went into this music. So that's.
I have a funny story about Echoes of Yesterday, specifically about the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We sometimes we create music in different spots, and we had really created the chorus of this song first, and then we were talking about an introduction, and I had just voice messaged him, sung him a little line, and he listened to that over sorting tomatoes in the grocery store. So we always think about tomatoes and joke about that. But no, he took this little line that I sang and he produced it with the guitars. And it's an amazing result.
Yeah, I was, as she said, I was in the supermarket, buying on the Sunday, when we went to the supermarket once a week, to buy everything and go and run back to home, So I was there sorting some tomatoes and talking to Rebecca through the WhatsApp and so on. And then Rebecca sung kind of lullaby, kind of lullabies in WhatsApp. And then I registered that. And then I came, okay, let's create that. And then we made this introduction. Yeah. I made the harmony on the guitars and Rebecca sung the lullaby.
Yeah, there you go.
That's great. So I love the background. We're going to play it and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
Great.
Peak Sound Radio.
We got carried away. We were really enjoying the album art too while we were listening. So
we were starting to hear the background story on that. So we'll actually let Ricardo tell that story. So Bridget was commenting on how awesome the album art is. And we said, where did you find it? And so, Ricardo, please tell us.
I'll try to summarize. Yeah, I talk too much. So, yes, this artwork was made specifically for this album by one artist from Brazil called Wildner Lima. And he's the current artist for some big bands like Kiss, Motley Crue, Ministry. And he's made a kind of interview with me. And I explained to him all the ideas of all the songs. He listened to all the songs. And then we initially talked about the one eye. The idea was the one eye in the space, when one girl, that's represented by Rebecca, And then the Standing in the Void idea, we were very excited with that song at that moment. And then he tried to populate all the information from all the songs in the same art, So that's kind of, in my point of view, it's one of the best cover artworks I have ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how did Wildner know I had all that hair, by the way? I'm teasing.
Yeah.
Although there's some people, at least some people that are friends of mine, that are like, the girl in the picture looks so much like you, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't think so. I don't think so at all. But I mentioned that to Ricardo, and he goes, "It's the hair."
It's
Yeah. That's great. It is such a cool cover though, because in some ways it really harkens back to like those, great 70s and 80s vinyl bands that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
But there's also like I mean, maybe not, and also it has this sort of fantasy element too, which is really cool and
Yeah.
brings in a lot of like, mythical imagery, which I think goes well with your music, and it's pretty awesome.
And it is strategical for us because I believe in that. When the artwork and makes you to listen the album, So if you see one album and you like the artwork, immediately you want to listen the songs, And the opposite as well,
Mhm.
So I think it works really well, when the artwork is well done.
Absolutely, because you get that mental imagery. You'll see it and you'll automatically start singing in your head your favorite song, and vice versa. You'll hear something and you're like, oh, that album cover was amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it reminds me too. Remember what I was saying before, like the whole "lost in the woods but happy there" sound.
Right.
Yes,
it actually
you're
looks
100,
it.
yeah. 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you zoom in on small sections of that art, you will get very much happy feelings. But
Mhm.
the overall just kind of takes you through the gamut of emotions.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it seems to me that you have something to teach people who want to do creative endeavors during this time of separation from other people, but also going forward, because this is not a lesson that needs to be constricted to pandemic living. But I think it also is a lesson that says, hey, if you have passion for something and you want to do it, you can do it, and you don't need to have the big multi-million-dollar recording contract.
Yeah, go to the studio or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So
Well,
if someone wanted to like really go forward and grab their passions, what would you say to them?
Do it. Do it. Just do it. You must be spontaneous. You must strive for everything that you want to do, because don't have no regrets. Don't let any chance go by wasted, because life is short. And if that's what you want to do, it doesn't cost thousands of dollars to do it. This is coming from someone who did think it cost thousands of dollars to do this, and it doesn't.
Me either.
It
Yeah.
was okay. I had this little interface because I did do online recording when it first came out, maybe 12 years ago. Well, it probably came out before then, but I started 12 years ago. So Ricardo, the interface that I use now is still my original one from 12 years ago. So and the microphone that I originally used, which I have upgraded since, and there's still free software out there that you can use to record with, and then of course there's some where you can pay a reasonable fee for, such as I think Reaper. If you buy the license, it's like $65, and then you have the program. And some of these are what the professionals use, like Pro Tools, and I think you have Logic Pro now, Ricardo.
Yes, but just to illustrate a little bit better, I was, we were not spending almost nothing, it was more our time or the education, when we record in the night, after our families go to sleep and so on. So yeah, but the point is, if the lessons learned for me, are believe that your dream can be true, so that's first. Second, nothing can stop us. Sorry for my poor English. Nothing can stop us. Me and Rebecca, we are doing everything. We started everything from zero. We started the YouTube website some months ago, Facebook, we had nothing. no support, no fans, nothing, you know. So we started in June, I think, July. Yes, Rebecca.
July.
So, and everything that show up and it's an obstacle for us, is a problem for us, we push, we go, we, you know, we transpose, you know, we win. So we are, that's so cool, you know. So we can do, and I think, Rebecca, we can do more, you know, we can go on. Yeah, I believe in that, you know. And we are doing without disturbing our personal lives, you know, just adding, you know, value to our personal lives, in my point of view.
100%. I agree. You know, because we both have jobs, we both have families, and we are just taking up the free time that maybe we would be using sitting in front of the TV doing nothing, you know. This, now it's being productive and it's being funneled into the things that we are passionate about.
Yeah. And I think that if you sleep a little bit less, you know, and watch less the TV, you know, and then half an hour per day, you know, you can do amazing things. So that's what I learned from this album, you know, so far.
Yeah.
That's such an inspiration, really, because I think pre-pandemic, March 2020, it would have been just so much easier to sit in front of the TV, right? It would have been so much easier to just let the status quo go by, and to hear two people who've, in the course of a year, been able to build this beautiful, wonderful, creative endeavor. Awesome! It's just totally inspiring.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, and by the way, a lot of I found, not a lot, but we found some people that said that it wouldn't work. Let's say, you know, for example, I heard, I don't know if it's the right word, but I heard my ears in one song, you know, the echoes of yesterday. I couldn't mix anymore, you know, so I was kind of sick in so many trials I did, you know. So I visited some studios, you know, and in the studios, one guy told me, "Hey man, do you believe this is going to work? Do you believe that the people don't realize you do it in home studio?" You know, so I don't know, maybe the guy was trying to convince me to mix, to record and mix in his studio, you know. But this guy, when he opened his big screen, you know, in the studio, you know, a lot of mixing, you know, equipment on. When he opened his big screen and started to open his plugins, were the same plugins I use in my home. So, and then I said, okay. So I started to see how to don't do, you know. So I spent 2 nights with this guy. The mix was horrible, awful, you know, and then
It was.
really. And then I realized how to don't do. So I came back home and then I continued my job after my ears were okay, you know.
It was. And then even part of the process after we had mixed these songs, part of the process was to ensure we found somebody that mastered it. And that again was, you know, a process of reaching out and talking to different studios. And again, we learned that people were saying, well, what band do you want it to sound like? Because they would then look up those specs and use those specs. And we're like, no, that's not what we want. You can't make us sound like, some people were trying to make us sound like Evanescence or Heart, or, you know, some even things of Pink Floyd. We're like, no, we use their influences, but again, we sound like Ricardo and Rebecca.